So we've also got
Purchasing,
let's take them one by one. Yeah, one by one. So the purchasing and accounting, I don't know why it was pulled. Mr. Clare made the request. Sorry, I can't think
Do
of
we
the
have a
word.
motion so we can discuss?
Yes.
I
please.
move that we approve the purchasing and accounting report.
Thank you, Madam Second. Thank you. All right, discussion.
The concern I had with the purchasing and accounting report was the issue that we had. Charles Hausman here was getting $5,000, and when I had sent an email asking why that was the case, I was sent some information that that was due to the grant, the Horizonte grant that he's doing evaluations on. And then when I asked for a copy of the evaluations, apparently those aren't around, although it looks like he's been getting paid for some time for doing the evaluations. And what concerns me about that particular grant is that I received some phone calls right before the winter break saying that the school had laid off some people that were paraprofessionals that were helping the teachers and the students. And the teachers were concerned that they had lost those paraprofessionals and that apparently they were hired and then told right before the winter break that they'd be gone. And then today, in talking to Patrick, he's saying that the principal is saying that she had to use money to pay bonuses, and that's why they got rid of the paraprofessionals. So it just concerns me that in this grant we have the money to pay, for evaluations that that no one's seen or that aren't done yet, but we don't have money to pay paraprofessionals because we're diverting money to pay bonuses, and that just concerns me.
Okay. Thank you, Michael. Janet says that she can.
I just wanted to comment that in the email that I sent you, Michael, I never said that there wasn't an evaluation. I referred you to Patrick, who does have a copy of that evaluation. I just wanted to make that clear in the record.
Well, the evaluations, and I'm sorry to jump in, and please correct me if I'm wrong, are on our agenda. That these are the evaluations about our coaches. Is that right?
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Okay, so
the
go
school
ahead.
improvement grant evaluation for Northwest and Glendale have been completed. Horizonte is in their final year of the school improvement grant, so there is no final evaluation report yet.
And so those evaluation reports will be shared. How?
They were shared back with the school, I believe, in August or September.
Oh.
We'll make sure y'all get a copy of them.
Well, no, your email to me, didn't you say that he was getting paid for the contract that he had with Horizonte, with the SIG grant with Horizonte?
You asked about the specific $5,000 payment.
Right.
That is for Horizonte. And I also noted that we're not through that grant. And so we don't have an evaluation yet.
Right, so my question is that it looks like we're paying Charlie Hausman $5,000 for an evaluation for the Horizonte SIG grant, even though he hasn't done the evaluation or we haven't seen it, but we're laying off, why are we laying off paraprofessionals that we're supposed to be paid out of the SIG grant, is my question.
Are these
I can speak to-
paraprofessionals at Horizonte?
Yeah.
They were, until they got
I can speak just to one point, and then the rest I'm not sure what your real question is. But with the SIG grant on the budget, it's a 3-year grant. The evaluation is a part of that budget, and the evaluation has stayed within that budget. And the final receivable on an evaluation isn't until the 3-year grant's over. So you wouldn't expect it before the grant's over. There's additional data collection that'll be done, and that final report will then come. In terms of the budget for paraprofessionals, that also would have been part of the SIG grant. And so the site manager, the principal, would be looking at what priorities they have in the school to stay within their budget. So something must have changed in terms of either costs or priorities for the school administrator to make those decisions, which are theirs to make and we would fully support.
So what we're saying is that Charlie Hausman is getting paid for his time and effort right now that he's working on an evaluation, but it won't be out until the end.
Yeah.
And so you're paying just like you would pay somebody.
Sure, over a 3-year period of time.
Contract services over a
Contract
period of
services.
In the contract, but we will see an evaluation. And I guess following that, so who sees that evaluation? Just the school, or do we see it as a board, or who evaluation that
These are
Charlie
our first SIG
produces.
grants,
They
so,
are, yeah.
so there isn't a long precedent, but
Well, but we've gone
We could
through
ask for it.
Glendale, but I
we
mean,
could ask for it.
but, well, I'm just saying, who saw like Glendale's evaluation?
Should have been everybody in Glendale.
So it
Northwest,
wasn't the school board, it was just the Glendale population saw it. The teachers and the administrators at Glendale saw Charlie Hausman's evaluation. Is that who
Well,
saw
and I
it?
also saw a copy of them.
You saw it.
And
So
the
it's-
state received them, and I think they're online at the state, but I don't know that for sure, I haven't looked.
Well, I mean,
But
I
that's
just
where
am
they're
curious.
collected.
I think that's kind of what Michael's trying to say. Well, who sees this evaluation? Do we see it as a board or?
There's no reason for you to not see it.
Right, but it's not
And-
generally done.
Um,
Well, again, there's no
There
generally
has
because
been a-
Because it's on there.
Let's make sure you get SIG grant evaluations.
Then why are we as a board asked to vote on an expenditure on the SIG grant for Charlie Hausman, but this decision that was made to fire the paraprofessionals that are an integral part of the original grant, why was that decision not brought to the board?
Again, I'm not really tracking exactly the manner in which you're trying to split those decisions. You have a purchasing report that you're being asked to weigh in on. If you have a concern about a particular expenditure, that's what we should talk about. Now, the principal, if they are saying that I don't need these staff, this person, this service for the remainder of the year to stay within my budget, that's their job to stay within their budget each year. So I'm not sure what you're asking.
I think
well,
he's
Michael, I think
thinking
what
that
you're
the
saying is-
$5,000.
he's thinking that there's a link there, right,
he's-
Michael?
he's
Is that
thinking
what
that
you're
that-
trying to
well,
say?
let me back up and explain it this way. When I wasn't here when you guys did the SIG grant, when you submitted the application, but there were assurances that were given, there were, a budget that was attached to it, and there were certain things that in order to obtain that federal funding, you guys said you were gonna do.
Including
One of the
evaluation.
components of that, including the evaluation, including the paraprofessionals that were gonna be part of that process. And so I guess I'm asking, is this 5,000 coming out of the SIG grant, or is it coming out of local funding? Who's
Coming out of the SIG grant. I thought I answered that just a little while ago.
And I
All
guess,
right.
I guess the issue is that, I think there's two different issues. I mean, I think when Janet cuts a check, or whatever you wanna say, the money is spent, it has to go in this packet that we
Right.
get, regardless of what money it comes from. So, it's SIG grant money that was designated, and we still have to approve that she cuts the check, but we really aren't in the decision-making process of that SIG grant.
Right, and that's what concerns me,
And
because
that's-
I would
isn't that pretty
rather,
much what we're
I would
saying?
rather cut money off an evaluation than I would getting rid of paraprofessionals that
Yeah,
people
but
are
that's-
upset about losing.
Yeah, but that's a site-based decision. One is a site-based decision was that someplace at the site, they made the decision that those paraprofessionals aren't needed. But the money, the side of it for Janet cutting that check it is SIG grant money, it's been through the SIG grant, and everything that she writes a check for, she has to write down in here, whether it's coming from land trust or anything, right? I mean, everything has to show up here, even though, like the land trust money, I mean, we wouldn't question that the school wants to buy 5 smart boards, because it's land trust money and the school, it's a site-based decision, et cetera, and the same, I think, for what they're saying for Charlie. And I'm not
Well,
saying
right,
I'm in
but
favor of
questioning,
Charlie, but.
that these bonuses, that why, the bonuses were in the original budget for the SIG grant, so what did happen? So how do I find out as a board member what did happen that caused
I guess
this
you-
shift in money?
I guess you just talk to the principal and ask her. Well,
I know.
No,
or
you
McKell.
we'll get an answer for you as to why the principal made a particular decision that affected or impacted parapros,
Mhm.
but they would have had a budget to operate the school that
Right.
included the SIG grant. There are other grants that are there. There are grants that they probably didn't get. I mean, there's a combination every year at Horizonte with money they seek with grants and money that comes regularly based on formula for both the DOLDAD and for the alternative program. So it's pretty complex revenue stream. So whatever occurred at the school, decisions have been made to stay within budget and serve the kids the best possible. That's been a site-based decision. So it catches me by surprise because I know that there were parapros at the school that were informed months ago that there would be a change in their hours and/or positions, and they were helped to find other jobs. So if you're saying there's a surprise group, I'm not aware of that at all.
Yep, that's what they're saying, that they were hired in the fall and then told right before winter break that they couldn't come back because there was no more funding for them.
That happens with grants, unfortunately, way too often, where you have a one-time funding source and
And that's all I'm asking, why did that happen?
let's see what we can find out for you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
On this
Vote on it.
motion on the table.
yeah, so any other discussion? All right, seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Unopposed.
Thank you. All right, so our next one is